Oh man, I was just uploading at 3 megabytes per second, but I hit stream, and because I got QoS set up in my router, it automatically started dropping the speeds. I'm actually going to drop it a little bit more manually. Let's do 800, I guess. So, yeah, I have two Windows 2000s open here, and I just wanted to see the difference here between Encarta Encyclopedia Deluxe 2000 on the left, and then Encarta Encyclopedia 2000 from the reference suite from 2000. I want to see if it's different. Oh, wait, this is 2001. I don't want 2001, damn it. I want 2000. I thought I had it. Oh, shit. What? I don't have 2000? Oh, fuck. Oh, well. I guess I'll have to deal with that shit later. All right. I'll deal with that shit later. But in the meantime here, I'm going to listen to Phil Hendry. It sounds like a good bit with Ted Bell and having to ride the bus full of disfigured midgets. Oh, shit. I'm going to play a little Diablo 3 as well. Here we go.
Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Now, we're talking about the gas crunch and everything. It's not a gas crunch. It's a bad, I shouldn't put it that way. We have gasoline. We're just paying a lot of money for it. Ted Bell is on the road this evening listening to what we're saying. He's the president of Beverly Hills Automobile Association. Have you been tracking gas prices at all, Ted?
Phil, we have tracked gas prices in the metropolitan Los Angeles area. They've gone up about 27 cents a gallon over the last month. So definitely there's been an increase in gasoline prices. I think really the worst part about all of this, though, is people complaining about the price of gasoline. We're going to have to sort of set our sights on who are the people that need the gasoline, I guess, and who are the people that are probably going to be better served taking public transportation. I think those are the things we're going to be looking at here over the next couple of months.
But as I said, we don't have a gas crisis. We have higher prices for gas.
Oh, there's plenty of gasoline. There's plenty of gasoline. There's plenty of refinable oil. There's plenty of, but the price is very high, and I hear a lot of people complaining about it. I don't know what to say about it other than if the price is too high for you, then we do have public transportation, and we do have Los Angeles has the Metro Rail. Atlanta has MARTA, Metroline in Miami, the BART in San Francisco, on and on and on and on, and you can go to talk about these things. But I really think that the best thing to do is to take a look at your life and take a look at your needs and see what you want to do and how to weather this storm in terms of the higher prices.
Well, if we're talking about prices of gasoline going up, they're not coming down, are they?
I don't know, Phil. I don't look at it the same way.
Well, how do you look at it?
Well, well, first of all, $3.15 a gallon for a gallon of gasoline doesn't really bother me. And let me just qualify this.
How could $3.15 a gallon not bother anybody? That is,
Phil. Let me qualify, okay?
All right, go ahead.
I don't. In other words, I make a little bit more money than the average guy, I guess. Okay. I drive an XJR Jaguar. That's a Turbo 8. It's fully loaded. It's a convertible. I use my car phone a lot. And what that means is if you see a guy in an XJR Jaguar, are you familiar with what kind of car that is?
Am I familiar with what?
Are you familiar with the XJR?
It's the new Jag? Is that a Ford or?
It's. Let me tell you something. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery. I'm thinking about it. Almost seriously brings tears to my eyes because I do love cars so very, very deeply. But the XJR and my car phone, when you see a guy in an XJR, let's say, and he's holding a car phone, what you're looking at, and I'll give you a little test, Phil, what do you think you're looking at? Other than what, maybe you're jealous or maybe you don't like the guy.
If I'm looking at a guy in an XJR holding a car phone, what am I looking at?
Right.
I'm looking at a obviously wealthy man.
You're looking at a guy using his office. All right? That becomes an office, Phil. That is my office. I am moving from one part of town to the next. I am talking to different people on my car phone. I am setting up business appointments. I am sometimes closing business deals. In other words, Phil, what I'm doing is I am attempting to conduct business. It's not the same as some other guy who, I don't know, is complaining about the price of gas, can't afford it, or whatever the situation is. And
all right, well, what you're telling me is that you are not a guy bothered by the price of gas. What I want to know, and I don't know whether or not you have a limit, but what I want to know is, as a member of the Beverly Hills Automobile Association, what do you recommend to people who are? You're not bothered by the price of gas, I take it, because you make a lot of money, right?
I make a comfortable living, yeah.
So, in other words, you don't care how high the price goes?
No, it's not that I don't care, Phil. It's that $3.15 a gallon, $2.60, that's not going to have an impact on me. I'm in my office. I'm in a Jaguar. I have a telephone. I'm in my office. You take some other guy out there who's complaining about the price of gas. The recommendation would be from the Beverly Hills Automobile Association, and we have recommended a couple of levels. Our recommendation is to start using public transportation. I don't ride the bus because I can't stand around at a bus stop. Armani doesn't, I don't know what you want to, it doesn't travel well. I don't know what you want to say about it.
Well, you can't stand around at a bus stop, but you're saying that the guy who's complaining about the price of gas...
Obviously, he can't afford it, and so therefore he's not doing business in the rarefied air that I am, and so therefore he can go the public transportation route. He can go the metro line route. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I want your listeners to hear this, Phil, as we talk about these high gas prices. My mother and father didn't get along. My mother was not a very, she didn't have a lot of character. I think that's the reason why my father eventually divorced her. After he divorced my mother, she started riding a bus to take it to work. And I'm going to tell you something. Riding that bus, Bill, gave her character. She became a very, very formidable woman. She had weak character when she was married to my father. That's why he divorced her. But she rode a bus every single day into downtown Los Angeles to the TRW building, and now she has great intestinal fortitude and character because it taught her how to mix with people and how to get along in the world. I think that's what a lot of people...
All right, you're telling me a story about your mother and your father getting a divorce, and then after your mother got divorced from your dad, she had to ride a bus?
She had to ride the bus, yeah. And so what I'm saying is, riding a bus can give people a lot of character. It can give them that little step up that they need to compete in the world, Phil. Otherwise, you're lost. Now,
okay, so what do you say to the guy who says to you, Ted, why don't you ride a bus?
I don't ride a bus, Phil. I can't stand around at a bus stop. And I think that, excuse me for saying this, I think after 20 years in business, I've developed a little character whereby I don't need the character-developing qualities that come with riding a bus. I just told you about my mother. I'm sure there are many women and men in America right now who could use the same kind of character development. And
well, I don't know how we got a discussion of rising gas prices around a character development.
But that's the beauty of it, Phil. And I think that's something everybody ought to take a look at. If the gas prices are too high, I'm not saying they are for everybody, but if they are, maybe you need to toughen up.
So people who complain about gas prices aren't tough?
I'm just saying maybe they ought to toughen up. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Ted, hold the line, okay?
You got it.
Ted Bell has called in, Beverly Hills Automobile Association, and they do track the price of gas. They say that the average gallon of gasoline's gone up 27 cents a gallon in Southern California in the last month. He believes that the rising price of gas could mean more people using public transportation, and that's only a good thing. It develops character. Ted doesn't ride a bus, though, does he? He mentions that he drives an XJR Jaguar Turbo 8 fully loaded convertible. When he's in his Jag with his phone, that's his office. Armani doesn't travel well. Okay, 1-800-449-8686. Is riding a bus, riding the Metro line, riding MARTA, riding BART, riding the New York subway, riding the Loop, is that a character-developing endeavor? And like Ted's mother, who was divorced by his father because she had weak character, developing character may mean riding a bus, which is what she did after her husband threw her out. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Pick up the best of the Phil Hendry Show CD, 1999 CD, Communism is Neat, at philhendryshow.com. And on Thursday night, we'll have a radiothon selling our best of CD. All of the proceeds, you probably wonder why it is we continually harp and carp about the bloody CD. It's because all of the proceeds from the sale of our CD go to My Friend's Place, which is a resource center for homeless and runaway kids in Hollywood. And this is not like any money-making scheme on my part. It's bread that we give to My Friend's Place very willingly and freely. If you order it over the net, it's $3.50 shipping and handling. But I think if you order it online, or if you order it over the phone or during our radiothon, it's the same price? Okay, well, whatever. But at least it'll be easier to order. On the line with us, Ted Bell from the Beverly Hills Automobile Association, and you're also the owner of a very good steakhouse in Beverly Hills, Ted's of Beverly Hills.
Yep, we're now entering our 15th year of operation, too, Phil, so we're very, very excited about that.
Well, congratulations. Good restaurant. And you're talking about the need for a lot of people, if they're going to be impacted by rising gas prices, to take public transportation. You said something interesting. You said it was a character builder?
Right. And I go back to the experience, Phil, of my mother, who was thrown out by my father because she lacked character. But after my father threw her out, and she was forced to ride a bus into downtown Los Angeles every day to go to work, she suddenly became very formidable and has become a great, great woman. And so I think about that an awful lot when I think about transportation. It's not just a way to get from point A to point B, Phil. It's a way to build character, and I think that during this gas price hike, we can all, I think, stand to learn a little bit about that.
Okay, we were calling it a gas crunch. It's not. There's plenty of gas. It's just a lot of money being made per gallon.
That's absolutely right.
All right, let's go to Sarasota on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to know how many miles a month he drives, because I drive every night, and I put on 1,000 miles a week in my car.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of driving. I'm doing a lot of driving. I'll probably in a year, I'll do 25,000 miles.
Sir, I beat you by 25,000 miles.
You do 1,000 miles a week times 4. You do 1,000 miles a week.
Plus.
All right, so that's 4,000 miles. That's 36,000 miles in a year. All right, so you beat me by 11,000 miles. Point being, I do a lot of work in my car. I'm on the car phone constantly.
I'm in my car all day long.
Do you have a car phone? Do you have a car phone?
What do you think I'm talking to you on?
Well, I don't know whether you're calling from your car phone or not.
I'm calling from my car phone.
All right, so you're calling from your car. What kind of car do you have?
Gas here is $1.77.9.
What kind of car do you have?
I have a van.
All right, see, that doesn't.
Chevy van.
No, you got to be kidding me.
Who are you impressing on a Jag? Driving around a Jag. You think that you're any better than anybody else?
Wait a second, it's an XJR.
99% of the people in the United States do not drive around in Jags.
Well, the point being that 99% of the people in the United States are not doing the kind of business that I'm doing. I do seven figures.
There's multimillionaires that live here.
I do 7 figures a year, just personal income, okay?
Hey, you wouldn't want to know some of the people that are around Sarasota, would you?
Well, you don't happen to know I'm driving a minivan, do you? Come on, let's get real.
Yes, I do know them, yes.
Yeah, right.
Driving around in the minivan.
My XJR, look, I get 8 miles to the gallon, okay? So I am obviously contributing quite a bit to the economy in terms of I can afford it. That's what I'm saying.
Drive around in a Jag?
I can afford it.
Who are you impressing?
I'm not trying to impress anybody. What I'm trying to say is I do a lot of business. That's my office, okay?
There's a lot of people that use their vehicles for
well, look, I don't know why you're resisting.
Purposes.
Why are you resisting taking a bus? All right?
Why am I
wait a minute.
A bus?
Why would this lady have to take a bus?
Because obviously she drives.
2 o'clock in the morning? I don't think so.
You're driving a minivan, okay? That's a car that does not signify the ability to afford a higher price for a gallon of gasoline.
I put premium in my car, in my van, yes.
All I'm saying is riding a bus is a character builder. It helps people.
Well, then how come you're not riding a bus?
I don't need character. All right.
Oh, you don't need character?
No,
you just need to show off to everybody that you have a Jag. Is that your character?
I have a Jag. Yeah. What do you?
What do you do? Who cares?
That signifies that I do a lot of business.
No, it signifies that you're a jerk.
No, it signifies that I do a lot of business.
How does that signify you do a lot of business, Ted?
I'm sorry?
How does you driving a Jaguar signify that you do a lot of business?
Phil, nobody drives the XJR Turbo 8 unless they're making a significant income.
Whoopie-doo, you're just showing off.
And if I make a Jag...
Are you married?
Yes, my wife drives a Cadillac Escalade, all right?
Whoopie!
Okay.
Does that make her any better than anybody else?
It means that she obviously is married to a guy...
I bet you that Phil puts his clothes on the same way you do.
I don't understand.
That doesn't make him any better than him.
Lady, I put my clothes on the same way you do, okay?
No, I don't think so, because I'm a female.
You don't wear clothes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how do you put them on?
Well, I wear other clothes, more clothes.
Well, whatever. You put clothes on, don't you?
I hope so.
All right, I put my clothes on the same way you do.
What, so Ted, so you strap your clothes on in the morning?
I don't strap on anything.
Well, then you don't put your clothes on the same way this lady does, is what she's trying to say. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your call. 1-800-449-8686.
Phil, you're missing the point of what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that there are those of us this gasoline price hike won't bother. There are those of us that it will. Ride the bus, it builds character, is all I'm saying. It did it for my mother, it could do it for you.
All right, I understand that. We're talking about cars is all, and kinds of cars. Grand Rapids on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say your caller coming in doesn't speak for the majority of people. I live in Grand Rapids, and there is no public transportation from where I live and where I have to work every night. So the price of gas does bother me when I've got to pay almost $20 to fill half a tank of gas.
All right, do you have buses?
Not between where I work and where I live, I don't.
Well, all right, then I don't know what to tell you.
And maybe your mother's character building was due to your father stifling her, and when she finally got out of the marriage that wasn't any good, she got to be a better person because your father stifled her.
I don't think so. I think my mother was weak in a lot of areas. I love my mother, but when she started riding a bus, there's a lot of angry people, and I sense hostility in you too, sir.
Well, you're just bragging about how you got the Jag, you wear your Armani suits, and they don't travel well.
You can't. Wait,
you can afford to have a Jag and stuff, but don't brag to make it sound like you don't care what the price of gas is.
All I'm saying is you can't wear an Armani suit standing in a rainstorm. You can't do it.
Well, they make raincoats and umbrellas for people like you.
No, sir. They make raincoats and umbrellas
to get back and forth to work.
They don't make raincoats for me. They make them for you. I drive an XJR Jaguar Turbo 8. My wife has a Cadillac.
We know what you have, but the gentleman is saying, why can't you take a bus?
I can't do business on a bus.
Well, you're on the phone. What's it matter whether you're sitting on
a bus? I'm on a car phone, but I have to go from point A to point B. I can't stop and wait for somebody else getting on. The only thing I'm saying, Phil, and I think your listeners are missing the point, there are those of us whose income connotes a sizable amount of business that they do each day for the economy. We have to have cars.
Yeah, that's fine, but we're talking about the price of gas. It doesn't matter whether
the price of gas doesn't
Jaguar or
does it bother you? Does the price of gas bother you?
Sure does.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Well, that's fine.
I couldn't care less.
That, but,
then you should ride a bus.
It bothers.
If you complain, ride a bus. That's all I'm saying. If it doesn't bother
you, want to pay for the bus to come all the way out to my house,
I'll do it. Great.
The price of gas. Wow. The good news is there's no shortage of gas. It's just expensive. And it's just gone up, in the last month in Southern California. We have Ted Bell of the Beverly Hills Automobile Association on the line with us. It's gone up about 27 cents a gallon in just the last 30 days here in Southern California. There is one gas station. Do you, Ted, you know the station in Beverly Hills? It's $3.15.
Yeah, I heard you. $3.15 full service.
$3.15 full service with premium.
Right. I think that is not that extreme. That is a full service premium is fairly common.
Would you pay that?
I wouldn't have a problem paying it. So
you wouldn't have a problem paying that?
No.
Why? Let me ask you something. Why don't you take the bus? Why don't you just?
Well, I don't need to take the bus. And
yeah, but it would be prudent of you, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't go on the bus, Phil. One of the problems with public transportation and the public transportation in a lot of the major communities, you get a lot of the people who ride the bus. A lot of the infirmed and the disfigured. There's the scent of urine when you get on a bus. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. And
the scent of urine, huh?
Well, I don't know, but what I'm saying is it's not my cup of tea. But I think there are people who could use it if they can't afford the gas, from one point to the next. But you see a lot of the disfigured and the infirmed.
Well, I think that riding a bus, if prices, even if price doesn't matter, if it's just a matter of trying to get other people on the bus,
Well, it forces you to mix with people that you ordinarily wouldn't mix with. I don't mix with those people.
Those people being who?
The ones, generally the disfigured and the infirm, the ones that'll ride the bus. I don't do that. So
okay, 1-800-449-8686. You don't do that.
Well, I think you're making me sound like I don't think. I think you're making me sound.
I'm not making you sound anyway.
Well, you're making me sound as if I think I'm some kind of a great guy. I'm just saying, I have an XJR. Why would I ride the bus?
Got it. Here is Orlando on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
What a jerk! What a jerk! Who does he think he is?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, what a jerk! Is that what money does to you? Make you think that you're better than everybody else?
No, ma'am.
Because you drive an XRJ? Big whooping deal.
XJR.
Or XJR, whatever.
Well, no, it's not whatever. It's an XJR. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I don't know what.
Is that what money does to you, though?
No, what money does is you know what is important and you know what isn't important. I've got to remain mobile. I have to have access to a car.
And so that makes you.
Have you ridden buses?
Oh yeah, I've ridden buses before.
Then you know what I mean about the disfigured.
No, I don't.
What do you mean the disfigured?
So disfigured. What? That sounds kind of, that even makes you less.
No, I'm just
less
saying.
Of a. I mean.
You're telling
what
me.
What kind of a human being are you to on radio where people hear it all over to say I'm better than to ride with a disfigured or the infirm?
No, I'm saying I don't do that. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm saying that I can't ride where there is the scent of urine. All right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But what is that? What does that got to do? What
has
that got to do with being prudent with your money? I mean, did you start out riding in that big fancy car?
No, I did not. I started out as a young man. I was in the restaurant business. My father owned a restaurant. I worked my way up. But I got to the point where I recognized that there is a concentrated amount of money in this country, and if those people are not allowed to do their job, then everything grinds to a halt. Don't keep me from doing my job. I need my car. You, on the other hand, I don't know what turn the diamond lanes into premium-only lanes. All right? So that if you're only using premium gas, you can use the diamond lane. Now I don't know what you do for a living. What kind of a car do you drive? All of these things.
I drive a Cougar.
Okay, so that's
a 99 Cougar.
99 Cougar.
Right.
All right, what do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse.
All right, see what I'm saying? In other words, you could take a bus to work. What difference does it make? You're in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Yeah.
Mercy Hospital?
No, that's neither here nor
right.
there.
Well,
why could I take a bus?
Because you're a nurse.
Why am I not?
You're a nurse. You're not closing multi-million-dollar deals.
How do you know that? How do I know you do what you say you do?
Well, I guess you
just sound like a big.
I'll give you my home phone number.
And you say you're not saying you're not better than anybody else.
I'm not. I don't think I'm better than anyone else.
Then
why, Ted?
Then why can't you say?
Ashamed of yourself.
Then if you don't think.
Ashamed and embarrassed.
If you don't think you're better than.
Anybody that knows you should be embarrassed for knowing you.
Oh, wait a minute, man.
No, wait a minute, Ted. I want to ask you something. If you don't think you're better than anybody else, why are you saying you can't ride on a bus? Because there's the scent of urine?
I don't do that. I don't do that.
Why? Because you're better?
Wait a minute. You want me, Ted Bell, I own Ted's of Beverly Hills Steakhouse.
So what?
I'm the president of Beverly Hills Automobile Association. You want me getting on a crosstown bus with a disfigured midget And the scent of urine? No.
And yet you say you're not saying you're not better than anybody else.
I'm not saying I'm better. I'm saying that I don't do that.
Well, what does that mean, you don't do that, if you're not saying you're better?
Armani doesn't mix well with those people.
You just throw around a bunch of big names.
No, ma'am. I wear Armani.
Armani. So
ma'am, you
what?
drive a Cougar, you probably pay $250 a month for the thing, right?
Not exactly.
Well, I'm close. Am I right?
No, you're not.
Armani
You don't have a clue because your nose is so far
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You've got me all wrong.
Sitting on that golden lining where you're not better than anybody else.
No, ma'am. You've got me all wrong. I'm just saying that Armani doesn't mix well in a hot box of bad breath and BO, all right?
And so what makes you think that the people that go to JCPenney's and buys their clothes or Bird Irons or Macy's or whatever, that their stuff mixes any better?
Wait a second. You go where?
JCPenney.
I didn't say I go anywhere. I said the common everyday person.
The common everyday person can ride a bus. They can.
Well, what she's asking is, why does their stuff mix better with BO and bad breath?
Those clothes, if you go to JCPenney, those clothes are made for rugged use. You can walk into a room full of sweat and BO, and there's not a problem.
You know what?
You can. I tell you what you do.
I am not.
Have you ever gotten those?
I'm middle aged. I'm 43 years old.
You got any of those?
And I cannot believe that
Sears?
there's actually people like you in this world.
Ma'am, I do.
And
I
why
7 figures a year.
why you're so fortunate to have money? It's a shame.
No, ma'am. I work my ass. I work my rear end off for everything that I have. I own a very successful business.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, because
and I'm sure Daddy helped you a lot too.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I worked my way up.
Owning his own business. Oh, yeah.
I worked my way up in that business. I did not inherit my father's business. I started my own restaurant. I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you something else, okay? I think that in life, we all get what we pay for and what we deserve, okay? Now, if you go to JCPenney for your clothes, or you go to Sears and you wear those tough skin jeans, you know, the ones that are a little wide in the rear end, that mixes well in a BO area, all right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello?
Oh, I'm listening
Okay,
to you.
that's what I'm saying.
What are you saying? Sears clothes mix well in a BO-infested area.
You got it.
You know what?
Armani doesn't.
Armani doesn't travel. Okay.
Actually, people should feel sorry for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Feel sorry. I made $7 million last year. Feel sorry for me.
This builds your ego to be able to sit around.
Ma'am,
and say,
I've been in your
that's
position.
A very, very
Look, my first car was a BMW 325i. I've been in your position.
So?
I know how it is.
You don't
your
have
first
a clue.
car.
Yeah.
You don't have
right.
a clue.
Thank you very much for your call this evening, ma'am. Carrollton on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hey, my name's Garrett.
Yes, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
How you doing, Garrett? I'm Ted Bell.
My main comment
Yes, sir.
is that I feel like I'm pretty well off. I'm comfortable middle class.
Yes, sir.
And if it's all that, I drive a Mustang, and I go to work every day. I live in rural Georgia, and I have to have my car every day. Gas prices hurt me. The price of gas is expensive.
Sure it is. Absolutely.
And it comes off of my yearly income. The thing is, if I wanted to drive a Jaguar, if I wanted to do that, I would. But I don't. I choose to have a nice house for my family, care for the kids, and I choose to drive a Mustang because it's a good, comfortable car for me.
Well, absolutely. But you also have the option of a wonderful, and Mr. Hendry referred to it early in the show, wonderful public transportation in the Atlanta, Georgia area, MARTA.
That's not available to me. It's
and
not
by the
available
way,
to me, and the gas prices hurt. And, yeah, I pay the gas prices. I pay it because I have to. I don't pay it because I want to. I don't pay it because I like it. I pay it because I have to.
But you know that I could beat you off the line, don't you?
What?
You know I could beat you off the line with a Jag.
You know what?
Jag beats Mustang.
If I wanted to drive
Jag
a
beats
Jag,
Mustang.
then I would. If I felt like the Jag
what are we doing?
denoted the size of my penis, I think it's arrogant.
No, sir. I'm just saying the Jag beats Mustang.
What are you guys racing for pink slips? We're talking about the price of gas.
No, Mustang's a great car. Don't get me wrong.
We can talk about the price of gas.
XJR,
the point here
though.
is I think it's very arrogant to say I drive a Jag. If you can't afford gas, ride the bus. People have to have their cars.
What else are you going to do? You going to complain about it?
No, I'm going to pay for the gas.
Price of gas isn't coming out.
A lot of people are going to do that, Ted. A lot of people are going to say, okay, price of gas is going to $1.75, $1.92. I got to pay it. I can't do anything else.
I don't have a choice.
I
got to pay it.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's not kidding you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pay, and I'll probably cut down on a lot of my stupid driving. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
I'll probably start taking the kids to school in the Honda instead of that stinking SUV that I got.
Well, I think you guys are nuts. I think you're both nuts. I think the two of you ought to team up and get into a urine-soaked bus.
I think you're arrogant.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm going to do.
I think you're gone too far, man.
I've gone too far.
You turned it into disfigured. You're going to ride the bus. You're going to ride a urine-stinking bus.
I don't ride with the disfigured.
I don't feel the need to ride a urine-stinking bus. I feel the need to pay for the gas that I got to pay.
No, Henry's the guy. Henry's the guy that wants to go onto a bus and have a leper rub all over him. Okay.
What do you mean I want to go on a bus and have a leper rub all over me?
You're the guy that wants to take the public transportation. Have fun, pal. Have fun, not me.
That's not an option.
All right, it's not an option. Like this gentleman said, he lives in a part of the city where he doesn't have that public transportation. Thank you very much for your call, sir. 1-800-449-8686. Get on the bus and have the lepers rub all over me. 1-800-449-8686.
You can watch their fingers fall off. Bill, I'm just saying that...
Yeah, I know. You don't do that. You don't get on the urine-soaked bus. It's the Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. This is Phil Hendry. Ted Bell is with us from Ted's of Beverly Hills and the Beverly Hills Automobile Association. We started out talking about the price of gas. It's gone up. Ted, you're taking an elitist point of view, saying that because you drive an XJR Jaguar and you do 7 figures in income a year, you shouldn't have to ride the bus. You'll pay the price for gas.
Phil, I'm trying to say there's a difference between those of us who generate income and those of us who are riding on the bus. You've got leprosy.
I think you really owe an apology to bus drivers especially.
Why?
Because you're making it sound as if riding a bus is a trip into hell. You're making it sound that a great many wonderfully clean and efficient modes of public transportation, and you're talking about getting on a bus with urine-soaked, and I wrote down your words here, the scent of urine and midgets, and the disfigured and the infirmed, leprosy. There hasn't been leprosy in hundreds and hundreds of years.
Bill, there is a chance you could get on the bus with someone who has active leprosy. Are you willing to rub up against somebody like that? I'm not, all right? I'll take my chance at $3 a gallon. Thank you very much.
I think you're very arrogant.
Well, I may be arrogant, but I've raised a family and a business on those principles. I'm Ted Bell.
Yeah, you're Ted Bell.
That's right.
Here's Jacksonville on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello. Jacksonville. Hello, sir. Could you turn your radio down, please?
Yeah, my radio's down.
Thank you very much. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I'm calling. At first, I was upset with the guest there, but then I started, feel real sorry for him. Myself, sir, I made 6 figures on last year. My wife drives an Escalade just like yours drive. I drive a Navigator, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm more important than anybody else. You could be up today and down tomorrow, man. I mean, get it together. Your money don't make you. I mean, once your money gone, what type of character do you have?
Well, wait a minute. My mother built character by riding in the bus with the urine. And
yeah, your mother. But what kind of testimony does that do? I mean, do for you? Just because you're riding in a Jag, don't make you not immune to society, man. You need folks. You need people. Money don't make you. For you to sit here and say that you drive a Jag, you drive that don't say much for your character. Why can't you just stand on your character alone?
No.
Not the assets that you have.
Wait a minute, sir. I build a business. I raise a family. I tried to make the point with the host, and he wouldn't listen to me. I said I can't ride a bus because Armani is not wash and wear. I've got to be in my Jaguar.
Oh, sir, come on, man. Come on, you just blow that smoke.
No, sir.
I also wear Monty. But it has its place.
Why?
I mean, what's the big deal about Armani? I also wear Armani John.
Wait a minute. Why are you lowering yourself to the common people? Be proud. You're not one of them. You and I drive. I
haven't forgotten where I came from. I mean, you could be up and down, and your money could be gone tomorrow.
Are you familiar?
What do you have to stand on if that happens?
But, sir, are you familiar with leprosy?
course I am. You haven't heard about leprosy since the Bible days, man. I want you to know that God sits high and he looks low. And you're not immune to anything. Things can happen to you, man.
Ted, the idea you can get leprosy on a modern-day bus is insanity, okay?
I'm saying you get on the bus, the people there don't have legs, they're missing a face.
Oh, man, please.
No. Let me just hear me out, sir. And Mr. Henry, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I've been listening to you all hour, but go ahead.
I drive an XJR Jaguar. It's a very unique car. Turbo 8, fully loaded, convertible. I enjoy it. All right, you can laugh if you want. My wife drives a Cadillac Escalade. $3.15 full service is what I will gladly pay so I can get my car fueled. Now, what I propose for myself and this gentleman in Jacksonville is the Diamond Lane becomes a premium gas lane. If you get your car gassed up in full service premium, you're the only one allowed to use the Diamond Lane. What do you think of that, sir?
I think it's ridiculous. Like I told you, my wife also drives an Escalade. I drive a Navigator. But that doesn't make me. My vehicle doesn't make me.
I bet you do.
I can stand on my character alone. Of course, I can afford to buy the gas. But still, I don't want to complain about it. I don't like for folk to make a killing over what's going on in the world today. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I don't like the idea of I don't want to make a killing on it. I'll pay the gas. Everybody else rides the bus. They want to go there with the scent of urine.
Will you stop it with the scent of urine? Okay, as I said, you owe an apology to many bus drivers and people who maintain buses. There are a great many clean modes of transportation.
Name one.
What?
Name one.
BART in San Francisco is clean. MARTA in Atlanta is clean. Hell, the New York subways are clean, okay?
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what? I really hope that you continue to keep your money. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen tragically and you fall in some type of depression.
Look, I put it on my credit card.
You're one of those type of guys that take a gun and blow your brains out because you couldn't handle it.
No, wait a minute. I put all my gas on my wax, okay? I put it all on the wax.
What do you mean you put it on the wax?
I put it on the credit card. That means that, hello?
Yeah.
Do you play? Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you play for the Jaguars?
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with the Jaguars. Yes, I am very much.
Do you play for them?
Sir?
Do you play for them? Do you play football for them?
No, I don't play football.
Oh, okay. I thought this was. All right, never mind. I thought it was Fred Taylor for a minute. Now listen.
All right, look at okay.
You're not Fred Taylor, are you?
He's not Fred Taylor. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for your call. 1-800-449-8686. What is this? Okay.
My son's a big Jaguar fan.
Okay. Here is Charlotte on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi. I would just like to comment.
And a Panther fan too.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
I'm interested in your character because there's three main characteristics that I see in your so-called character, and that's that you're uneducated and selfish and empty.
I am educated. I went to the University of Southern California.
You're uneducated because you have an extremely narrow outlook on life and how you presume to.
Wait a minute. I went to the University of Southern California. I've got a college degree, ma'am.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
What do you mean uneducated?
I think that education.
How about the leprosy crack for starters?
Well, exactly. What? I mean. Besides from that, and also trying to hide behind this gas argument, when really what you're trying to do is just establish a fundamental difference between yourself and everyone else.
Are you jealous?
Really interested in perpetuating that.
Are you jealous that you can't afford gas?
No, I'm certainly not, sir. I come from a really rich neighborhood in Miami, Florida. I drive an Acura. I have a StarTAC Motorola cell phone. I go to a private school.
Acura's really okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
But I just think that your narrow outlook on life.
The Honda is what it is.
Is really characterizing you as someone who's just not.
Absolutely. I think what I wanted to talk, if I could interrupt the lady, I wanted to talk about the price of gas, not about you.
Phil, I was saying that people who can't afford the gas should take public transportation. Now, what's wrong with that?
Your argument has nothing to do with any of the points that you're conveying. You're conveying that you are better than everyone else.
I drive a Jaguar.
Well, that doesn't mean you're better than everyone else. What kind of contribution do you make to the world? Wait
a minute, did you hear what I just said?
Or some neuroscientist, then I would say that, yes, you were making a valid contribution to the world.
So you want to sit with disfigured people on a bus?
See, those
come on, man.
Clearly
uneducated. All it means is that I'm richer than everybody else. I don't have to sit there and rub up against a guy with dry leprosy.
That's so inaccurate, though.
Well, all right. Then maybe I do have to rub up against a guy with dry leprosy.
Besides the fact...
Have you ever tasted Ted's steak? That's my contribution.
Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-44... They done? Okay. Well, I thought this was interesting. Now, actually, I think it is. It's called The Pet You Don't Know. There are a lot of psychology books having to do with people, obviously. How many books are there that deal with the psychology of animals? Well, there's probably a few of those as well. But what you probably haven't heard is that there is a depressive state that your animal can be in. And Dr. Jim Sadler has written a book about it, and he joins us this evening from San Antonio, Texas. And Dr. Sadler, thank you for being with us, sir. This book was prompted by what?
Phil, this book, I wrote this originally because I had people coming to me, talking to me about their pets, domesticated pets, dogs or cats.
You specialize in animal behavior?
Well, initially my specialty was psychology, human behavior, and I did branch into animal behavior. There's no such thing really as animal psychology, but there is such a thing as animal behavior. I worked with animal trainers. I worked with some animal behaviorists, some people who are involved in training animals for the blind and for people who are hard of hearing. And through that, I became familiar with the behavior of animals, how they relate to human beings. And some of the information that I was able to gather and some of the data that I gathered was really rather shocking. You have a lot of these animals that I have seen, and I would dare say probably most domesticated pets evidence a depression. They evidence, so far as it's possible for an animal to be depressed, they evidence a lethargy and a depressive frame of instinct that I don't think we're aware of.
Now, animals don't have minds, correct?
Animals don't have minds in the traditional sense that we understand that. They do react from instinct, and they do react from memory. They have certain behavior that is burned into the neural pathways of their brains in much the same way that human beings do, with one decided difference. They do not make the judgments that we do make, but they instinctively know when there's something missing. And
well, the animals that you are seeing, or the animals that you're familiar with through animal training and through that, are depressed or unhappy? They
are animals that are exhibiting agitated states. They are animals that are exhibiting an unhappiness. I can't call it a depression. They are unhappy. Most American domesticated animals, Phil, are not happy animals. That's the message that I need to impart to your audience, and we do it through the book, The Pet You Don't Know, which is our way of saying that the animal's true desire is to return to the wild and release their instincts that way, and the only reason that they are around is because they are fed. They would much rather be in the wild.
But they're domesticated.
They are domesticated with one proviso. They come from a wild animal. You cannot breed out of a domesticated animal. It's instinct for the wild.
So there's a woman or a man listening to us tonight who has a cat that they're going to go home to. They're going to have a dog that they're going to go home to, and that they're happy to see. They pet the cat or the dog. They talk to the cat or the dog.
No, I understand they do a lot of those things.
But they're going home to a depressed animal?
They're going home to an animal that would be much happier in the wild, yes.
Are they unhappy being with humans?
They are not unhappy insofar as they're fed. The only reason why animals stay with human beings is because they're what we call kibble whores or milk-bone whores. In other words, they eat food. They have food.
Milk-bone whore meaning?
Meaning the animal is only with the human being for food.
So that cat and that dog that man or woman will go home to tonight is only there because of the food?
Instinctively, yes, Phil.
And they don't love their owner?
No, per se, there's no such thing as love. The animal, again, cannot draw those judgments. The animal does not have that emotional capacity. What the animal does have a capacity for is instinct for the wild, a desire to return to the wild, because that is the instinct of the animal. They'll settle for kibble, they'll settle for the milk bone, but most of today's pets are food prostitutes. And
well, what about when a cat is rubbing up against you and he's not necessarily hungry?
Well, cats, Phil, you have to understand, exhibit that behavior because they are, first of all, having a skin irritation. There are parasites. There are a number of reasons. The hair, their fur is wrong. There are a number of reasons why an animal will rub up against you. A dog will lick your face for the salt. Dogs have a severe salt shortage in their diet. And
so a dog is licking my face not because he cares about me or because he wants to be with me, but because he needs salt in his diet.
Again, you have to disabuse yourself of the notion that dogs love you. Dogs don't love you. Dogs are kibble whores, milk bone whores, the Sheba whore. And
what is the Sheba whore?
That's a cat food, a kind of cat food. In other words, what I'm saying is that they are depressed. And
are there, now in your book here, I'm sorry to interrupt you because we have to take a break, Doctor.
Yes.
Are there signs that pet owners can look for to know whether their animal is truly depressed? Or
yeah, there are 3 distinct signs.
All right, they're in the book?
Yes, they are.
Let's talk about them when we come back?
Certainly, Phil.
All right, Dr. Jim Sadler is with us. He's written a book called The Pet You Don't Know. He maintains that most domesticated pets are unhappy and depressed. They are wild, come from wild animals, even though they have been bred down to a domesticated level. They come from a wild breed and, as such, are unhappy in your home. 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686 to call the Phil Hendry Show and talk to Dr. Jim Sadler. If you'd like to buy our CD tonight, our Radiothon is underway. Let me give you our Radiothon CD purchasing number, and that's 1-800-260-4534, 1-800-260-4534 to pick up the best of the Phil Hendry Show CD tonight. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686. Dr. Jim Sadler is with us, works in animal behavior with an explosive new book called The Pet You Don't Know, and basically exposes the underlying psychological world of sick and unhappy pets. You have domesticated pets unhappy because they're domesticated?
Because they have been removed, Phil, from the wild, absolutely.
But they've, for generations, have been domesticated animals.
But they have this basic strain of wild animal behavior in them, and you cannot, under any circumstances, you cannot downplay that.
All right, well, how do pet owners know if their animal is unhappy, is depressed?
Well, first of all, most people have no idea how unhappy or sick their animals are, and I think that we have millions and millions of pets out there that are very unhappy, very sick, perhaps need to be put down.
You're talking about euthanizing the animal, or
absolutely putting the animal down.
There are basically 3 steps in your book that you go through.
If your pet, Phil, there's a lot of things I think a lot of pet owners have to understand. If your pet is scratching a lot, it means he's very unhappy in his own skin and wants to get out, i.e. he wants to exit this life and be at peace. And
all right, so people listening right now, get a pen or a pencil and write this down and sort of watch the behavior, Doctor.
Absolutely. I would look at the behavior of your animal for the next few days and see how they're behaving.
All right, if the pet scratches a lot, it means he is unhappy?
If he is scratching a lot, it means he's unhappy in his own skin. That's psychological animal behavior talk, but it means the animal is unhappy in his own skin. If your animal licks himself or herself a lot, they feel unclean, possibly due to some abuse or rejection from the birth mother, and they want to be put to sleep. And
all right, so if the animal licks himself a lot, and that is how?
Just notice the animal start licking itself, it means there's some trauma and some rejection from the birth mother. If the animal bats a toy around, it shows they're aggressive and combative and will eventually turn on you. And so they need to be put to sleep.
All right, so the 3 things: if your pet is scratching himself a lot, if the animal licks himself a lot, or if your pet bats a toy around, it shows they are aggressive, they feel unclean, or they're unhappy.
That is correct, Phil. And
what do you recommend that people do?
I would. It's the desire of the animal to be put to sleep. I don't know. You can take the animal to a vet and have the vet look at the animal. maybe there's some megavitamin therapy, but for the most part, the animal wants to be put to sleep.
All right, this is an important book for people who are pet owners. Now, we had something happen today to a little boy in Houston, and it was a 400-pound Bengal tiger. Let me read the story here. Surgeons this morning reattached the right arm of a 3-year-old boy who was attacked by a 400-pound Bengal tiger, but they aren't sure how much use the toddler will have of its limb. Jayton Tidwell of Brazoria was in surgery at Memorial Hermann Children's Hospital for 11 hours, and he's doing good. Doctors aren't sure how much use of the arm the child will have. The boy stuck his arm through a gap in a tiger cage, a chain-link cage, and the animal ripped his arm off at mid-bicep. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not, Phil. That's shocking.
It is absolutely shocking. The little boy whose uncle had a Bengal tiger. It occurred at the backyard where his uncle Larry Tidwell lives. The boy stuck his arm through a gap in the tiger chain-link cage, and the animal ripped it off mid-bicep. It was a freak accident, said Tracy Olivas, a neighbor who heard the boy screaming when the late afternoon attack occurred. You didn't hear anything about this?
No, I didn't. It's shocking.
Why would a 400-pound, why does that happen? Now, this is a 400-pound Bengal tiger ripping off the arm of a 3-year-old.
And you're asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you've got a 400-pound Bengal tiger in the backyard of a guy, and the little kid stuck his arm in the cage, and the tiger ripped his arm. I'm just trying to figure out, why do these things happen?
You know, Phil, it's difficult to know why. It's difficult. I feel like you're ambushing me a little bit.
No, I don't mean to ambush you.
I just don't know. I'd have to see the animal. I'd have to find out why that would happen. I mean, I don't know a lot about the situation.
Well, it was a 400-pound Bengal tiger.
Right, it ripped off the arm of a little boy.
Right.
I don't know. It's some kind of a fluke. I know how your talk show hosts are, kind of ambushing the guy, but...
I don't mean to ambush you. I thought maybe you'd have some information on what a 400-pound Bengal tiger would be doing, ripping off the arm of a little boy. And
I'm completely stumped. I'd have to not talk to the animal, but look at the animal and find out what's going on. I have no idea. But I will tell you this, that animals can behave in very unpredictable ways, and you have to be ready for it. And
would you say that that's a depressed animal?
The tiger that ripped off the boy's arm?
Yeah, would you say that's an angry or a depressed animal?
I don't know. I don't know why.
He ripped off a little boy's arm. Would you say that animal, the tiger, is depressed or angry?
Well, see, again, you're kind of ambushing me. And
the little boy.
I know, Phil. The little boy had his arm ripped off
by a 400-pound Bengal tiger.
Right. What do you want me to say?
Is that animal angry or depressed?
I don't know. I have to look at the tiger. And
okay, I mean, I'm just trying to get an answer here, okay? And you can't give it?
Phil, I don't want to be ambushed. That's all.
All right, I hold the line here. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Phil Hendry with Dr. Jim Sadler on The Phil Hendry Show. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Don't forget, we are having our Communism is Neat Best of the Phil Hendry Show 1999 CD Radiothon tonight, and all of the proceeds go to my friend's place. So if you'd like to buy the CD, and we've had a lot of people saying, well, I don't have a computer, Phil, so I can't necessarily buy it online. You can call tonight and get the CD by calling 1-800-260-4534. Dr. Jim Sadler is with us. He dabbles in animal behavior, but your degree is in psychology, correct, Doctor?
That's correct, Phil. Psychology and some sociology.
But your book, The Pet You Don't Know, is basically, you're saying something rather revolutionary here. Most pets are depressed, unhappy, and want to be put to sleep.
That is correct, because they're in an unnatural state. The state they're in is a state of, what do you want to call it? They come from wild animals, and now they're domesticated. Okay, so That's unnatural.
Now, the three indications that an animal is unhappy: a pet scratching himself a lot, an animal licking himself, and batting a toy around. This indicates that the animal is essentially trying to leave its environment, right?
Absolutely. Trying to leave the environment, trying to get out of its own skin, feeling a little unclean.
But we got to the story here about the little boy had his arm ripped off by a tiger, and you don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep going back to that. I mean,
well, I just wondered why you would think a tiger, 400-pound Bengal tiger, ripping the arm off of a little boy.
Yeah, it's got me.
It's got you.
It's got me stumped. I don't know why the animal do that.
Okay.
I mean, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to make me look?
No, I'm not trying to make you look anything. It was an interesting story, that's all, okay? Please forgive me, doctor. I don't mean to offend you, okay?
Well, it just seems like you're practicing some kind of ambush journalism deal here, you know? One of those ambush journalism deals.
No, I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that. Forget I even brought it up, okay? Let me go to a phone call, all right? Eagle Rock on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You're on the air.
Yes, I can't believe you're a good doctor. I have 3 dogs.
Right.
Anyone that would question why that animal bit off the arm of the 3-year-old, and as I told your interviewer, it's certainly not the boy's fault, but the idiot that would keep.
Are you a professional?
Am I what?
Are you a professional?
What do you? I don't understand.
What do you mean? You know how do you know why the tiger did what it did?
Because it's obviously an angry and depressed animal. Who would keep a 400-pound animal
what
of
gives
anything
what gives you
in a cage?
Why do you feel it was angry and depressed?
Because I'm smart.
It ripped off the arm of a kid.
Right. The kid.
So how do you? I don't know where your training is from, but I'm a professional.
I don't know where your good doctor.
No, I'm a professional animal behaviorist.
Look, the animal ripped the kid's arm off. You saying to me that he liked the kid?
No.
I'm not drawing any conclusions.
I'm not
Phil.
saying that at all.
I'm not drawing
you're not listening to me.
Well, I'm not drawing any conclusions. I don't know where you got your degree, but you know what I'm saying?
No, I really don't.
Do you have pets?
Yes, I have 3 dogs.
Do they lick
2
themselves?
Cats. I'm sorry?
Do they lick themselves?
No, actually they don't.
All right, then you treat them.
They're very spoiled.
Okay, so they don't scratch themselves.
I have a 95-pound German Shepherd, a female, and a Chow mix, and a Spaniel, and a Siamese cat, and a gray feral cat.
And do they scratch?
And they're all pretty happy.
They scratch themselves?
I would imagine if they would have a flea.
All right, well, there's depression. See, you don't, you think you know.
No, you're way off the track.
No, you're way off base. You're
way
off.
You are off
You're way
the
off.
track.
Let me say
and
something,
number one, you're like George Putnam. You don't let anybody talk because you're the star of the show.
No, I happen to be
why do you take phone calls?
I'm a doctor of animal behavior.
If you don't want to hear what I have to say,
but ma'am,
then don't take phone calls.
Well, hold on. Bob, this is the host of the show. Now, let's have some. Ma'am, you're making a comment. The Dr. Sadler is saying...
You are the talker.
You
are the talker. You're the host.
I am the one who has the degree in animal behavior.
Yeah.
You don't.
How do you know that?
Who do you think people want to listen to? You? With your animals in Eagle Rock?
You make a lot more money than I do, so I'm sure they want to hear you, honey.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So you go on, but I'll tell you one thing.
I'll tell you what right now. You got an animal
that... losing show
you got an animal.
You
got an animal scratching himself. You should put that animal to sleep. Hello? She hung up. No guts. God, I hate that.
Well, come on. She was obviously upset. You're making some statements here concerning people's pets, that if they scratch themselves or bat toys around, then they should be put to sleep.
That's correct. Because there's depression. And
well, it would seem to me there's a lot of animals that behave that way.
No. That is an indication, Phil.
In other words, when we have seen animals all these years scratching themselves and licking themselves...
They want back. They want out. Game over, they want out. They are from a wild animal background, domesticated too long.
All right, here's San Diego on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a sad day in America where any idiot hawking a book can get on a radio show, call himself a doctor, and tell listeners everywhere that they should put their itchy animals to sleep. That's ridiculous. There are dermatological reasons why animals itch.
Are you a doctor?
Veterinary technician.
A veterinary technician. You know,
hey, look, I'm not
I think it's a
impressed by your credentials either,
well,
Mr. Sandler, or whatever the hell
my
your name
is. Dr. Jim Sadler, and yes, I do look at animal behavior, and I look at it in a very unusual
you're an
way.
idiot. No doctor, no self-respecting doctor on the planet would issue a carte blanche statement about all itchy animals. Any decent doctor would at least want to see the animals first.
That is very true, but I am saying, given the origins of most domesticated animals from a wild breed of feral African wild dog or the African wild cat, they are unhappy in a domesticated state, and that is indicative of their scratching, licking, and batting toys around.
Well, I'll go buy your book when I run out of Charmin.
You'll go buy my book when you run out of what, sir?
Charmin.
I don't understand.
Of course you don't. Toilet paper. When I run out of toilet paper, I'll go buy your book.
Okay. So now so you're going to wipe your ass with my book, is that it? Now who doesn't have class?
You're a complete idiot, and I cannot even believe how irresponsible you are.
I want to get back to the. I want to
get. The radio station for putting you on. You're an idiot.
I want to get back to the idea of this Bengal tiger, and
I told you nobody knows why the tiger ripped the kid's arm off. Why do you keep going down that road? Do you know? No.
The guy in San Diego doesn't know. He's listening to himself again. All right, thank you, sir. Bye. 1-800-449-8686. Spartanburg on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi. The question I have is, have you ever seen a cat? I'm a cat owner. Have you ever seen a cat that didn't either scratch themselves or didn't either play with a toy if you threw it in front of them? Have you ever seen a cat that didn't lick himself? Have you observed a cat for a period of time for
Does your cat do this?
I ask you the question, sir. Have you ever seen a cat that didn't do one of those three things that you observed?
I don't know. I think they're perfectly healthy cats that never lick themselves.
Have you ever seen one do that?
Have I ever seen a cat not lick himself? Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. How long did you spend around that cat that you have observed him? How long did you observe him before you came to that?
Well, what am I supposed to sit there and stare at the cat all afternoon?
No,
I've seen
but
cats
do things like every other animal does. At some point in time, it will do some kind of action.
I answered your question. Now answer mine.
Okay.
Do you have a cat that licks himself?
Yes, I do.
Then you should put the animal to sleep.
Okay. What you're advocating is animal that licks himself.
Any animal that licks himself should be put to sleep.
Right.
We're talking about sodium pentothal, sodium phenobarbital, Phil. It's very humane.
No, we're talking about what brought you to the determination of that licking himself
suffocation,
depression. Why does licking himself equal depression? Why does that equal depression?
If the animal licks itself, they feel unclean, possibly due to some abuse or rejection from the birth mother.
How'd you come to that conclusion?
I've spent an awful lot of time with a lot of animals. And I have observed them. I feel I have a simpatico with a lot of them.
You've observed the animal with their owner?
I've been with the animal one-on-one. I do a lot of one-on-one.
Okay. Well, then, if an animal is
you can
abused,
go down and
someone has to abuse it. So that would be the abuser.
Most
so therefore,
animals
you would have to
I've
spend
dealt
your time with the owner,
No, I don't get that.
and then you would have to spend time with the cat, both to see if the cat's being abused.
I have spent time with a cat.
Okay.
I've spent hours with cats.
You have no conclusion for your basis.
No,
what you're saying
sir.
is you're just saying that this equals that, but you're not telling why it equals that.
I'm seeing a cat right now up in Ventura. I go up. The cat sees me probably 3 times a week because it's under a lot of pressure. Its owner is an elderly woman.
And what brought you to that determination right there? Why is
the cat obviously is communicating this to me? Its owner is an elderly woman, very persnickety.
These are assumptions then.
No,
correct,
sir. These are what the animals are.
These are
the animals are telling you this?
I'm sorry?
What are you? The animal coming into your office?
It's a particular animal that I'm seeing. Yeah.
What brought you to the conclusion that the animal is
under pressure?
Yes.
First of all, the owner of the animal is a 75-year-old woman with a lot of cleaning implements. She's very persnickety. The bowl is in the cat box. Right. The animal's under a lot of anxious pressure because the cat box is not cleaned regularly.
Okay, so by those
a lot of kibble, a lot of milk bone, this
by
kind of thing.
By those assumptions, you've determined that that causes pressure on the cat.
The cat's under pressure. Sir,
what brings you to the conclusion?
All right, I'll tell you why.
What you're saying is like
do you want to sit on a filthy toilet seat? Of course you don't.
Okay, well, you just said animals had no feelings either. You said animals cannot feel love. They don't have feelings like we do. So if they don't have feelings, then they can't perceive...
the cat can be insulted. The cat felt insulted.
Okay, if a cat can feel insulted, then can it have other feelings also?
No.
Okay, but
No,
the only thing a cat can have is being insulted.
Is feeling insulted.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's pissed off all the time.
Well, no, otherwise it's just stupid.
Okay.
Or it's
okay.
insulted.
And you just answered all the questions right there.
You try living in a 75-year-old woman's house. How do you think... You try crapping on a dirty toilet seat.
You said cats couldn't feel. You said that yourself. You said cats cannot feel like humans do.
You did.
Other than feeling...
other than... So
cats
your
are
statement
notoriously
was
arrogant.
then.
They
Your statement was wrong.
You see, first of all, cats believe they're better than human beings. Are you aware of that, sir?
Oh,
do you have a cat?
There you're doing it.
Do you have a cat? Do you have a cat?
You're doing it again. You're saying that cats feel.
Do you know that your cat thinks he's better than you?
Okay,
how do you feel about that?
Did you not?
How does that make you feel?
Did you not say, sir, cats could not feel?
Wait a minute. I have a cat.
And your cat thinks he's better than you, Phil.
You're telling me that my cat thinks he's better than me?
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
I thought you said cats
you're
could
feeling
not
bad
feel.
about it, huh, Phil?
You said cats could not feel emotion or feel like humans feel.
They don't seem to feel emotion because when they look at human beings, they're bored with us. So generally they don't...
So boredom is a feeling. Boredom is a feeling.
Boredom is just... Most cats are bored.
Boredom
if they're not in out-and-out pain.
Being bored is a feeling.
No,
okay.
It is not.
Okay.
It is not.
Then why do you use the term, I feel bored? You feel it. It's a feeling you have.
But the cat doesn't use that term. The cat just is bored. And that's the distinction.
All right.
Cats are smarter than people, and that's another thing that pisses me off. And I have a chapter about that in my book.
Okay.
All right, sir. I got to take a break.
Foot in your mouth, sir,
right, exactly. I think he's nuts. I have to take a break, sir. Okay. It's a Phil.
Oh, you think I'm nuts, huh?
No, there's some things that you're saying that I think need to be cleared up. Phil Hendry Show. Our number 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686 to talk to Dr. Jim Sadler. Cats feel bored. Or if you want to order our Best of the Phil Hendry Show CD, 1-800-260-4534. It's the Phil Hendry Show. Phil Hendry Show, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. Dr. Jim Sadler works in animal behavior, is saying that if your cat or dog is scratching himself, licking himself, or batting a toy around, he's depressed and wants to be put to sleep. And you have this insight, doctor, into cats and dogs, but you don't know why a 400-pound Bengal tiger ripped the arm off of a 3-year-old boy.
You know, you keep busting my balls on that, don't you? You just keep...
No, I'm sorry, but I don't understand why. How about this? The Bengal tiger's in a cage and is angry and decides to lash out at the human beings.
I don't know how you can make that conclusion.
Because he's in a cage. Because he belongs in the wild in India or Africa or Nepal or wherever he's from.
No. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, here is Long Beach on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I've been listening to this show, and my only comment is you're saying that you've met with the animals. You're the one that is with them. How do we know that they're not depressed being with you?
Very amusing.
I mean, you're just saying, well, I haven't seen them interact with the owners at all, but they're telling me they're depressed. That's 90% of animals are either playing with toys or grooming themselves.
Well, I don't know. What do you mean 90% of animals? You know, there's an awful lot of people calling in tonight. I don't know what their experience is. How do you know?
Well, I know interaction with animals, I know interaction with people, but the sad thing is you say, I have a doctorate in sociology. Well, there's animal psychology, and you have yet to say that you've gotten any academic education.
There's no such doctorate in animal psychology, none whatsoever. There is animal behavior.
The animal is depressed.
Yes, the animal is depressed.
You cannot make that clinical diagnosis unless you have a doctorate of what, psychology?
No, I did not say that I was making a clinical analysis. I was saying it is my opinion, based upon experience, that most
is just
animals...
one person's opinion.
Most animals want to be put to sleep. Now, if you're angry because you have a pet, do you have a pet?
I have 2 pets.
All right. I'm sorry to tell you this, but your pets would rather die than live with you.
My pets would rather die
than
go see someone like you.
They would rather die than see you come through the door at night. Now, I don't know...
now, how can you say that?
What?
I can't believe you're saying that.
How can you say that?
Ma'am, what kind of animals do you have?
I have 2 Cocker Spaniels.
Oh, Jesus. They're nervous. They are completely. They probably.
They're very lovable.
Yeah,
they love to play. They give a lot of love.
What do you mean they're lovable? How do they love you? In what way?
They just
what do they
come
do?
up to you and they give you a little attention.
Do they lick you?
If I don't
do they lick
feel
you?
well and I'm sick in bed,
right.
they don't want to leave my side.
Do they
worry about me.
Do they lick you?
Yes, they do. They
That's
give me
because
kisses.
they need salt. They don't love you. They need salt. That's all that is.
Most dogs do like salt, but they're just like
the reason
humans
why they
like
lick you.
Salt.
Humans are a main source of salt for dogs. That's why they lick. Other than that, the animal would rather be shot up with phenobarbital than have to spend one more. And Cocker Spaniels are insane.
Where do you get your research?
I'd like
to know where you get your research.
What do you mean Cocker Spaniels?
So I have observed Cocker. Where do I get my research? 5 years at Johns Hopkins Veterinary School, 4 part of UNESCO. I have also worked with the very esteemed Dr. William Wahlberg, who did most of his studies at the University of Chicago. So I have credentials, ma'am.
Yes,
and I will tell you right now.
Where are you publicized? Do you have published articles on this?
Yes, University of Indiana. I have 2 pieces that are coming out in the American Veterinary Journal in August. Now, I would say that Cocker Spaniels, you would just as soon put a plastic bag over their head and throw them into a lake.
I can't believe you're saying something like that.
You would be doing the animal a favor.
That is an inhumane thing.
That is an absolutely insane
I can't believe
thing.
You're saying something like that.
Oh, come on, lady. You see the Cocker Spaniel licking your face for salt? Depressed in every manner, way, shape, and form?
Well, if you want to say animals for doing anything, even scratching themselves, humans have dandruff or body lice. You're going to say kill them too? Put them under?
Are you depressed? Do you want to kill yourself if you have body lice?
No, I don't.
Well,
I
the
don't
animal
have
does.
either. I just
well,
thought,
a cat
you're
and
talking
dog
about
do.
animal behavior.
Well, a dog does. So there you go.
I just don't think you have the
you don't
academic background nor
you
the
I do.
training to pass
I
any
just gave you my resume, ma'am.
Well, all right. We'd like to check that resume out. Thank you very much for your call, ma'am.
Thank you.
1-800-449-8686. Kennesaw on the Phil Henry Show. Hello.
I'm just going to jump in with both feet here. How in the hell can you call yourself a doctor, sir?
I have a degree.
I don't understand. What are you talking about?
You know, a degree in doctorate.
Every dog and cat plays with toys.
They're depressed.
You know, every dog, every cat, all
They're
the pets.
miserable.
No, sir.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
agree
madam.
with you. If
well,
you
ma'am,
would
you
see
may not
my
agree
pets,
with me.
they are the happiest pets alive.
Which pets?
Dogs. I'm,
No.
fixing to get a bird. You don't.
You're fixing to get a bird.
Yes, sir. I'm.
Ma'am, birds are among the most depressed
every
animals.
Dog,
They're
every
in a cage.
cat, every pet licks themselves, scratch themselves,
Right.
play with toys.
Do you lick
it doesn't
yourself?
Mean they're
No, you
depressed
don't.
And they want to be killed.
If you licked yourself, wouldn't it be safe to say you were depressed or at least lonely?
No, sir.
No?
Sir.
If you licked
no,
yourself,
sir,
you
I do not agree with you.
I'd advise
and
against the
about
bird.
The tiger was angry. You don't keep a 400-pound tiger in a cage.
How do you
sir.
figure that?
How can you sit there and
I
tell
don't
Mr.
understand.
Phil that he's
Did you see the
ambushing
movie?
you?
Did you see the movie The Birds?
Yes, sir.
All right. You know what happened to Tippi Hedren? She got her eyes plucked out or whatever the hell.
Yes.
What was it, Phil?
I don't know. Was that an Alfred Hitchcock thing?
Right.
But
all birds want to attack in large groups. When I get depressed, I will tell you this much: when I get depressed, I do tend to try to lick myself.
Oh, great. Well, that
I'm
speaks
saying
a lot for
this.
itself
No, ma'am.
right there.
No, ma'am. I'm simply saying this because I got very upset one night and I got stood up. So naturally, I went home and attempted to lick myself. It's purely natural.
Sir, you can't say just because a dog wants to play with itself.
Phil Henry Show, 1-800-449-8686.